Hi, my name is Aditya Senthil. I'm a rising junior, majoring in biostats. Um, Something about me is that I've broken my left wrist 3 times in the same place, so it's pretty rough. And then why I want to be a chemistry learning assistant is because in high school I used to teach piano, and the teaching experience was like really rewarding, and I really enjoyed it. And so because of that, after I've like gained some chemistry experience at UNC, I've wanted to like build on that knowledge and teach others, just like a lot of peer mentors have helped me in my classes. And so that's why I want to be a chemistry LA. And personally, something that I want to help students with when it comes to studying and their techniques when it comes to studying is in particular like giving them different ways in how like information can be presented. So like for me personally, I really enjoy like in visuals really just help me understand things better. And so I have always like looked for visuals for whatever class I'm taking. And so I want to like give them resources when it comes to visuals, just explain things in different words, because like when I was peer mentoring this year for Chem 241, I used a lot of analogies when I'm explaining things. Like when I'm like explaining like where an acid is like relative to the pH scale, I like use like the example of like being like the United States and how close you are to the border with Canada and the border with Mexico. So analogies like that, I feel like have really helped a lot of the students that I've peer mentored for already. And so I want to like continue offering that. And then as well, like better explanations, different explanations, and different ways of thinking. And so I think that really helps students in general. Yeah.
And so this is a question that I made for one of my peer mentoring sessions a month or two ago. And so basically the question is, say you want to separate two organic acids by pH, where acid 1 has a pK of 13 and acid 2 has a pK of 7. So at what pH would you be able to separate these two solutions? So like I said, visuals really help. So that's why this visual right here, like this wouldn't be provided, but this drawing this out would really help students. So in this case, if your percent acid on the y-axis and your pH on the x-axis. And so as the pH increases, acids are going to deprotonate. And this is because acids deprotonate when their pH is greater than the pK. And this is something that students would have to know from their prior knowledge. Otherwise, they'd have to learn that while doing this problem. But because acids deprotonate when their pH is greater, when the solution's pH is greater than the acid's pKa, and because acid 2 has a significantly lower pKa than acid 1, you'd want to find a pH where acid 2 has been deprotonated, which is where its pK of 7, it'll be 50% protonated and 50% deprotonated. So we'll want to go past that pK of 7 to around this 9 to 12 range, where there's going to be very little acid 2 remaining. It would most likely be its conjugate base. Meanwhile, acid 1, due to its higher pK, for it to deprotonate, your pH would have to be much higher than the pH that would be required to deprotonate A2. And so with A1, you know that it'll mostly be acid all the way up until around a pK of 13, which is where you'll have 50% acid and 50% conjugate base. And so in this instance, by drawing this out, you can see that at around a pH of 10 is where your acid 1 is still in its acidic form, while acid 2 has now been deprotonated to its basic form. And by this, you would be able to separate them, because students should also know that when in their neutral acidic form, acids will be in the organic phase, while in the deprotonated form, due to their charge, they'll now want to go to the aqueous phase, and this will allow for an extraction of one acid from the other. So this is how I would walk a student through a problem like this, where you could do it in your head, like if you know from the top of your head that this is true. If you know that, then you can say this will be deprotonated past 7, while you don't want to go past 13, because then acid 1 will also be deprotonated. So a range in between there is between 7 and 13. And so 10 is about the middle ground there, which is why you'd want to use that. But yeah, that's how I would explain a problem like this. And obviously there's many other calculation-based problems in 241 that would require formulas and stuff like that. But in this instance, that's how I would explain it.